Hey guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to a brand new episode on the BMW 5 Series. So if you haven't watched the last video, I'll leave a link in the description to that and the series on this, but we started to lose the light and I wasn't going to be able to film the front bumper because it was starting to get dark. So what I've done is I've just gone ahead, popped all the front bumper and all the other bits that we needed to get on the car so that we could take it for its first drive. So in this episode, what we're going to look at doing is taking it for a drive, seeing if there's anything else that we're not aware of other than the front sensors and bits and pieces that we need to look at there. So what we're going to do is take a look at getting those sorted. We're going to take a look in the interior as well and what we need to do to get all of that sorted. Things like taking the wrap off, making sure that, you know, all of those bits are done, all the interior lights and so on that are missing, and getting everything so it's MOT ready. And then what we can do after that is hopefully get it booked in and get the body shop to work their magic on doing the bits that we need to get sorted there. So there you go guys, we're now out and about on our first drive. We've just picked up some fuel for it because the fuel light was on, and last thing I want to do is run out of fuel on the first go. We just thought we'd take it for a spin, see what's going on, if there's any weird noises, knocks, bangs, and make sure the vehicle drives all right. I don't know if you can hear it on the video, but the near side rear wheel bearing is absolutely singing at about sort of 40 to 50 mile an hour, so we're definitely going to have to look into getting that sorted. So that's another thing to add to the list, but other than that the vehicle seems to drive fairly straight. There's no other sort of weird knocks and bangs, all the power seems to be there, gear changes are all good. We're just getting up to temperature now, it's getting nice and warm in the cab here, so I'm just going to take it for a spin, see if there's anything else, and then we'll get back on in the video and see what we can do to get the rest of these bits and pieces repaired and basically get this car up to a nice standard. We're now just in the process of removing the wheel bolts so we can remove the wheel. And once we've got those off, we just pop the wheel out of the way, and that will reveal the rear hub assembly, the brake and the brake disc. So now we're just removing the retaining bolt which holds the disc to the hub flange, and then we've moved on to the caliper carrier bolts, and that holds the caliper and the electronic parking brake as they're all one assembly. They can be quite tight to get off, so we're just going to take those off, pull the caliper off, and then pop that into a location where it's not hanging on the brake hose. Then we're going to pop the disc out of the way, and that will reveal the hub flange. Then we've got a little plastic cover in the centre there, and then when you pull that off, that will then reveal the drive shaft nut, which locks the drive shaft onto the hub flange there. And then you've got 4 bolts which hold the whole bearing assembly on. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to find the specific socket. I couldn't find it in my set, so I'm just in the process of taking it all apart in one go with the drive shaft included in that hub, so that I'll then just press the drive shaft out when I replace the wheel bearing. So we're just working our way through now, taking all those bits and pieces off so that we can pull it all out. I'm just holding one of the ball joints at the back of the hub there because it was just spinning, so I'm just holding it back into the hub assembly, so hopefully that will remain tight so that I can then undo the locking nut on the back there. So as you can see, we've taken this all out in one go. As I mentioned, I didn't have the socket for this, so we've just popped the whole assembly out here, and I've just popped out, managed to get that undone, popped out and got the wheel bearing, and I've swapped all the wheel bearing over. So undid those 4, managed to knock the drive shaft through, and then take this wheel flange off, press that into the new bearing. As you can see here, we've now got the new bearing in, so it's just a case of popping all of this back in place, getting it all tight, and then getting that all sorted. So we'll get on with that now. So it's just a case of reassembling as we did take it apart a moment ago. Okay, so we've managed to get the wheel bearing all done and sorted, as you've just seen a moment ago. So now we need to turn our attention to getting some of the diagnostic stuff done on this. So we've plugged in the computer. We're going to have a look at some codes and see what's going on with that. We did look with the Delphi scanner, and that's shown us a few faults that we've got to look at resolving. So we've got one with the seatbelt or the buckle, something like that. And then we've got some other bits and pieces that we need to take care of on the front as well. So I'm just currently in the process of working out what faults I've got on the car. with regards to the airbag side of stuff. So I've been playing around in the car getting a few bits and pieces sorted. So I've done some code reading and where I've jumped about on different scanners and various bits and pieces to try and ensure that what I am reading is correct. There's a bit of difference in how they sort of describe each fault. So for example, on the driver's side here, we've got the belt buckle, and then we've also got the so basically you've got a little pyrotechnic in the belt buckle, and then you've got one which is in the seat belt as well. So in the event of an accident, it basically just pulls the seat belt tight to ensure that you're not sort of thrown about in the car. So what I've done is I've had the driver's seat out, tested the belt buckle, because that was what was coming up on the Delphi scanner that I've got. So I've tested that, that's okay. So I've looked a bit further with some other software, and it was actually showing that the seatbelt was the issue, not the belt buckle. So I've taken that all apart and tested that, had a look at that, and it turns out there was actually some broken wiring right next to where the plug goes into the seatbelt itself. So I've repaired that plug there and got that sorted. And I've also, while I was there, obviously having the seat out, I've given all of it a good clean underneath. So what I'm going to do in this side is just the same here. So I've just taken this seat out, because what I wanted to do when I was testing the buckle for this one is I wanted to compare the readings on this passenger seat, because I wasn't able to actually find the readings that I needed. So yeah, they both match, which is fine. Now I've just got to clear all of this lot out as well. I've got the battery disconnected on it as well, because I'm trying to avoid setting off any more fault codes, because when I had this seat out earlier today, it did mess around and bring up a fault code, and then I wasn't able to actually delete it until I'd taken the battery off for some reason. I'm also working under here, as you saw previously. I was trying to work out why the headlight washers weren't working. So up in the fuse box up here, we were getting, if we were supplying power to the fuse itself, that was making the headlight washers work, and also when we put a function test on the scanner, that was making it work as well. So I'm pretty sure it's had some previous coding on this car, because when you're locking the car as well, you get the audible warning. So I wonder if somebody's been in here coding some bits and pieces. It seems to be quite common that people want to code the headlight washers out, so I need to look at getting them coded back in so that they're all sorted. And then I've had the airbag ECU just hanging down here, because I've been checking the wiring from the airbag ECU to, if I take you around to the front, just basically to this front sensor here, the front optical, well sorry, that's the optical sensor which runs in here, but one of the front crash sensors. So I've just been testing the wiring from here into the car, just to make sure that we've got no breaks in the wiring. I need to get a different sensor for this, because the one that I ordered was the incorrect part number, so I need to get that sorted. And then the other code is relating to this optical sensor, which is sat and just tucked in here. So I've been doing some testing with that as well. So I'm just working my way through doing a bit of testing bit by bit, trying to get that all sorted hopefully, so I can get the airbag light off. That'd be great. So yeah, I'll get cracking, hoover all of that stuff out, give you an update of where we're at afterwards. Hopefully we can reset some faults and get them sorted, and fingers crossed, once we've got the sensor that we need for the front here, we can get rid of that airbag light. It's been a few days since I last worked on the car. I've managed to get myself the remaining crash sensor bits that I need for the front of it, but as you can see, it's rather wet and windy today, so I'm not going to do much filming, but I am going to chuck my waterproofs on, get these on, and then hopefully we can get rid of that pedestrian protection sensor fault on the dash. It's been a little while since I've last worked on the car, but as you would have seen in the last clip, it was raining, it was windy, and it was pretty awful. So I'll flip the camera around and show you what I've been up to. So we managed to get the front bumper off, replace the central crash sensor with a genuine BMW one that we picked up from BMW, and I also got a fibre optic sensor that ran across the front here. I wasn't able to get that from BMW directly because it was on back order, so I tried getting a a genuine BMW brand new one off of somebody online, but unfortunately where the part numbers didn't exactly match the car, it just meant that I think that this one hasn't worked. So I've been to the dealer, been waiting weeks for this, and now I've finally managed to get the sensor. So what I'm going to do, whip the bumper back off, pop that sensor back in, put the bumper back on, and then hopefully we'll get rid of that pedestrian protection sensor fault on the dash, and then we can move on to the next bit. I've just got the bumper laid down here. I've taken off the crash foam and replaced that sensor, which just plugs in down here. And then the reason I've got the bumper off like this is then I can leave all of these sensors all plugged in, so we can make sure that that's okay. I've got the car running as well because the battery was quite flat where it's been sat about for a while. So if you look in here now, just where you'd normally see where it's got the dots for the time down on the bottom left there, we haven't got the pedestrian protection sensor issue anymore. I have got a little warning triangle on the side there, which I need to have a quick look as to what that might be. I've done a quick look on the check control here and it's not showing any issues, so fingers crossed we've managed to resolve that one. Perfect. So what I'll do is I'll whip the front bumper back on. I'm also going to put all the glove box and stuff back in there as well, because I've had that out where I've been looking at the airbag module for various airbag and pedestrian issues. So we'll get all that back together, then we can move on to the next bit. We've now popped all the glove box back in and the trim underneath. I did manage to find the interior light for here as well, so I've just whacked that back in place. And we've also gone and got all the front bumper back on now. That's all in place. So we're all sorted from that side of things. So now we can look at getting it booked in and getting it MOT'd. Now that we're all MOT'd, what I want to try and do is turn my attention to giving the car a clean on the outside and also on the inside. You probably haven't seen too much of the inside other than the intro when I first got the car, but I'll run you through in the inside and you can have a good look. Although it looks quite clean from afar, there is actually quite a lot of dirt and muck and grime in there where the car's been sat up and maybe a little bit neglected as well. So what we're going to look at doing is fitting some of the bits that somebody's decided to take off, whether that be to I don't know, sell them, or whether that happened at the auction, I'm not too sure. But we've got a few bits and pieces that we need to chuck in the car, so that they're all in there. As I say, we can give it all a good clean. I want to give the outside a good clean as well. I did do some body work, as you saw in the earlier videos, and yeah, as I say, part of this channel is learning, trying new things, tricks, tips, bits and pieces, and yeah, just improving along the way. And with that being said, unfortunately, after painting the bonnet and the front bumper, I'm not quite happy with the finish on those. I've managed to get all the imperfections out, but on the bonnet itself, I'll grab the camera and show you in a minute, but on the bonnet itself, I haven't got the base layer quite right. So you can actually see some of the sort of fading in and out where the base layer wasn't quite right. So I just put some lacquer on there, just one coat, just chucked it on there just to protect that. And as I say, I'm going to get that sorted. Whereas the front bumper, we managed to get the base layer quite good on that, but unfortunately the lacquer, we didn't get enough lacquer on there. So I'm going to get them to do that. What I'm also going to do is just whiz you around the outside of the car quickly and show you some of the imperfections on the outside that I'm going to get them to take care of as well. So yeah, what I'll do is we'll start by going around the outside, having a look at that, and then we can jump in to the inside and get started on that. Right, so I'll start by showing you the front bumper there. So as you can see, we should be able to make out up here, you've got a nice clear lacquer finish there, really quite nice and shiny. Whereas when you come down to the bumper itself, yes, there is dirt and debris and bits and pieces where I've been doing some miles in the car, but you can see how dull this is in comparison to the wing there. So if I just step back a little bit, you probably can see that a bit better there. And if we go and have a look at the bonnet, that might capture it, but yeah, you can just see in and around this sort of area, mainly here, you can just see some fading of the base layer. So I need to get the bonnet painted, the bumper. I'm going to get the wheels refurbed as well, because there's quite a lot of curb rash around them, as you can see. Somebody's been kissing the curbs. Then if we move our attention to to the back one. As you can see, again, that's all curbed up. Where else have we got? So we've got a little bit of a mark here, which will probably polish out just up there. We've got a dent in the back boot lid there, a little bit of a scuff there. There's a tiny little scuff there. And I'm trying to think if there's anything else. There's a little bit of a scuff there as well. Again, they might be able to get most of these out, but yeah, it may well be that they need to paint that, sort that out, so they may just paint the whole lot in one go. And then I think on this side we seem to be fairly okay. Yeah, so I'll get them to do a once over all around the car, get them to have a good look around it and just make sure that everything on there is okay. But yeah, what we're going to look at doing is giving it a real good clean. As you can see, all in here we've got plenty of grime and dirt all along in here as well. So yeah, and then if we move on to the inside, I have ended up ordering this panel here because this sort of like gel piece here has all started to disintegrate, and every time you put your hand in there and shut the door, bits of it fall off and it's gone all sticky and horrible. We did take the seats out and hoover in and behind the seats and underneath there. I've given all of the carpets a hoover now, and I've just got some floor mats for that. There's a bit of dirt on that one, as I say, where I've been driving it. But yeah, we're going to look at putting the floor mats throughout, which we've done. We've got some lights for up in here because somebody decided to take those out. I've managed to get the footwell lights sorted, but all of the door card lights in here are missing, so we've got some of those. We've also got up here, somebody's decided to take all of the lights out there, so we can look at popping those in. And then what we are also going to look at doing is taking off all of this sort of wrap here. It probably did look quite good when they first did it, but it is starting to peel off. So up there you've got a bit there that's starting to peel off on that far section there. All of it's starting to lift around here and peel off in places, and then again I think you've got some more there that's just starting to peel off. So yeah, we'll get started on the interior, see if we can make that look a bit better. One other thing as well, we are going to look at cleaning this seat belt. I have been cleaning it bit by bit with some stain remover, just trying to get all of the sort of what looks like mould and stuff on there originally, where the car's just been sat about for some time. So yeah, and then I've got some leather cleaner as well, so I'm going to try and give all of this a real good clean, see if I can bring that up a bit better, make that look a bit nicer. So yeah, with that being said, we'll get cracking and see if we can make it look a bit nicer. So I just happened to look in the back and I thought, oh, maybe I'll have a quick look at this one. And somebody has also stolen all three out of these as well. So I have one spare and I've just popped that in, but now I've got to order another two. Thank you for that, much appreciated. So yeah, for now I'm not going to bother popping that back in. I'll just put this in the glove box and add two more to the list to do. Turn my attention to the seat belt. Never go with this, so just got myself a clamp here, just a soft clamp or soft jaw clamp, just to stop the seat belt from trying to walk its way back in. And then I've just got some of this lightning fast stain extractor. So I'm just going to work my way along the belt. I've just got a detailing brush as well. I'm just going to use this to work my way in there. I don't want to go too mad with it because I don't want to damage the seat belt. And then just leave this to soak for a while and then probably come back to it. As I say, I've been doing it just sort of in stages really, just to see if I can improve it. If I need to, worst case, I'll have to get another seat belt or get this one re-upholstered. There are loads and loads of trim screws missing as well behind here. There's a couple missing out of this, out of the stereo and out of that vent up there, so I'm going to have to order a whole host of those so that I can make sure all that's screwed all back in. So just going to work my way around peeling all of this off here as well. Whatever that is, that wasn't plugged in. So yeah, that's just going to make it a bit more accessible, just to peel all around the edges, make sure that we get all of that wrap right off and out the way. So that's it for today's video, guys. We've managed to get the front headlights coded, the headlight washers. We took care of that noisy rear wheel bearing and replaced that, and that allowed us to get the car MOT'd. So that's all been sorted now, and we've got a fresh MOT on it. We also took a look in the interior and we start working our way through that. Some of those dirty seat belts, we got all the airbag light off, we got all the pedestrian protection stuff off, which was also what we needed to do for the MOT. We've replaced some bits and pieces in there, like those missing lights and things. We've also got a door handle, which I'm still waiting for, or the inner part to the door card. So I'm waiting for that to turn up. I'm also waiting for some leather treatment to turn up. So I've got the car booked in at the body shop. So it's going to be off the channel for a few weeks while they work their magic with all the stuff they've got to do there. And then what we can do in the next episode is hopefully show the interior all sorted, show the exterior all sorted, and finish this car off and see what you make of it. So I hope you've enjoyed watching today's video. If you have, please consider subscribing to the channel, like the video, and we'll see you on the next one.